Uncertainty is stressful. There's nothing worse than not knowing who you are, what your next steps should be, and how you will reach your goals. Thinking back, just 11 short months ago to the beginning of this year, I had a plan. I knew exactly where my life and my career were supposed to go this year. Now, my background is with enterprise rent-a-car in human resources and recruiting. I just had my baby. And at the beginning of this year, I was excited and ready to get back to work. I was interviewing for talent manager positions. And there was no question in my mind that I will hit my 5-year goal of becoming an HR director. But then the pandemic hit. All of my plans were shattered. I felt powerless, fearful, and even anxious. I didn't know where to go next. And that uncertainty forced me to take a deep dive, and an honest one, into my strengths and my skills. I kept asking myself, who am I? What is my career purpose? And how will I reach my goals now? And through that self-assessment, I started to find answers. I realized the value and the skills I earned from my human resource and recruiting experience. I also realized how much I love helping others in their job search. And then I connected with the right people, and it all came together. Today, I run my own company, Career Bloom. And every day I get to do what I love doing most. And that is empowering women to find a career that they will love. And that's what I want to talk to you today. How you too can emerge from this time of uncertainty with clarity on what your skills are, knowing what your next steps can be, and having a strategy of how to achieve your career goals. So let me share my screen with you. So today, we will talk about the 3 secrets to navigating a challenging job market with confidence. First, we will talk about knowing your transferable skills. Second, how to gain clarity on your next career steps. And third, I will share what it means to have an effective career search strategy. These 3 steps will help you to be successful no matter what your situation is. It's possible that during this difficult year, you might have been furloughed or laid off, and you might be looking for a temporary position. Or you might be looking for permanent employment with another company here in Hawaii. Or it's possible that you are open to remote work and are considering work with a mainland company. But it's also possible that with tourism picking back up, you might still be working for your previous company and are looking for a lateral career move, or maybe even a promotional one. In any of those situations, the 3 steps can help you achieve your goals. So let's talk about number 1, knowing your transferable skills. When I went through my time of uncertainty, I started with a self-assessment. The questions that I asked myself were, what problems have you successfully solved? What would not have been accomplished at your current or last position if it would not have been for you? What are you proud of? And what makes you unique? And that self-assessment helped me to find answers. I realized that in my recruiting experience, each year I scanned over 10,000 resumes. I interviewed 1,000 candidates and hired more than 250 new employees. And the skills I gained from doing that were knowing how to identify skills and strengths in people, knowing when a person is a perfect match for a position. I know how to build a network to attract strong quality candidates. And I also know how the applicant tracking system works. That's the software that scans your resume when they get submitted online. And I know how to get a resume past it. And then I realized that those skills were truly transferable skills and the skills I need to be a successful career coach. And just like me, you too have within you right now everything that you need to be successful. Because especially as hospitality professionals, you have a wealth of transferable skills. Let's look at a couple of examples. One transferable skill, one of the most universally transferable skills that you gain from working with customers are problem-solving skills. Because what do you do when you work with customers? Well, on a day-to-day basis, you have to handle difficult, unexpected, or complex situations. And then, often on the fly, you have to make decisions quickly, be resourceful, and find creative solutions. And these problem-solving skills are highly transferable skills. They are sought after across all industries, from all different companies and positions. Or how about a second example? Leadership. Have you ever managed a project, a team, or even a department? Of what size? Are you able to delegate effectively? Can you motivate others? Have you taken the lead and responsibility for a team to accomplish a goal or an objective? If so, that is another transferable skill that is highly sought after in a variety of industries and fields. Let's cover a third example, sales. I like talking about sales as a transferable skill because sales requires such a specific mix of hard and soft skills in order to be effective. It's not enough to know your product. You also have to be able to persuade others, to build relationships. You have to know how to acquire and retain clients. So ask yourself, when have you used those skills in order to make or save your company money? And how much was that? Those are the transferable skills that you want to find within yourself. And once you identified them, you want to communicate them consistently on your resume, on your LinkedIn profile, on your cover letters, when networking, in career conversations, and of course in job interviews. Knowing your transferable skills is a very important first step, but it is not enough. You also need to know how to be clear on your next career steps. So let's talk about secret number 2. And that is having clarity on your next career steps. And today I will share with you a tool that is highly effective. It is a document, a career framework that describes the work that you would like to pursue in the future. Before I walk you through the steps of how to complete your career framework, let me share with you a short story that illustrates just how effective this tool can be. So not too long ago, I was working with a client. She used to be an operations manager at a travel company, but like many, she lost her job due to this pandemic. She knew that in the immediate future, the travel industry she wasn't able to go back to it. Working with me, we identified her interests, and she realized that nutrition is her other big interest, and she would have loved to work for a nutrition company, but she didn't have any experience in that industry. So we started to get her going to talking to managers and decision makers within that industry. She was really learning more about the industry and what the careers in that field look like. And then she had a Zoom call scheduled with the manager at a company she really, really would want to work for. She asked the manager a bunch of questions about his company, the career path, the industry, and the industry trends. And then she also got an opportunity to share what she's looking for in her next career. The manager was really impressed by how clearly she was able to communicate that. And he asked, "Do you have that written down anywhere?" She's like, "Yes, I do. I actually have a career framework. Would you like to see it?" He was, "Yes, please." She puts the document into the Zoom chat box. He opens it, reads it. He's quiet and thinks and says, "I'm going to end the call now, but I'll get back to you." But first, she was disappointed because she was really looking forward to talking to this manager more and building her network. But she thought she said something wrong, or something must have gone wrong that he just ended the call. But then, just 30 minutes later, her phone rings. The manager is on the line and says, "You know, I was really surprised to see the career framework or the document that you sent me, because A week ago, me and my partners were talking, and we were talking about adding a position to our team. And more than half of the bullet points that are listed on your document that you sent me are what we wanted this person to do that we want to bring on. So I thought about it, and I would like to interview you for the position. Are you interested? No, she couldn't believe it. She just secured herself an interview in an industry that she had no prior experience in. They haven't seen her resume up to that point, and the position wasn't posted or even advertised yet in any way. A week later, she interviewed with a panel of managers, and now she's been working there for the last 3 weeks, and she's loving every day of it. And that is the power of being able to clearly communicate what you're looking for in your next career move. So now I want to share with you how you can put together a career framework for yourself. Because I really believe in how powerful and effective this tool is, I'm going to ask you to put a career framework together for yourself and then email it to me within the next week. So by Tuesday, the November 17th, I would love to see a career framework from every single one of you, because I do want to hold you accountable to completing this task. So let's walk through the steps of how to do this. First of all, you want to do research and review job postings. You can find jobs anywhere online, such as Indeed, LinkedIn Jobs, Glassdoor, or Age Careers, for example. And then you want to look up the jobs, not just by job title, but also by your strengths or by your interests. And when you read through the job descriptions, you are looking for sections or bullet points within that job description that explain something that is something that you want to be doing next in your career. When you find a sentence or a bullet point that describes something you find interesting, you know how to do, and you want to continue doing it, you copy paste that section or that bullet point into a blank Word document. And you keep going till you reviewed at least 10 job postings and have at least 2 pages of copy paste bullet points and sentences. And then it's time for step number 3, and that's to edit down your list. First of all, merge similar bullet points together, and then narrow it down to the 12 to 18 most important bullet points that describe what you want to be doing next. Last step, number 4, is to match the bullet points to your transferable skills that you identified before. Now, let me show you an example of how this is going to look like. Here's a career framework example. On top, there's nothing but your name and your contact information, phone number, email address, and ideally your LinkedIn URL. In this example, the transferable skills I chose as headlines are strategic leadership, relationship management, and marketing communication. And then underneath are your bullet points that describe something that you want to be doing next. Of course, this is a shorter example. I'm asking you to include 12 to 18 bullet points, but those wouldn't have fit on the slide. And once you're done, of course, you email it to me by next week. But then you also want to use this document in networking, career conversation, or job interviews. Because the best thing about this career framework is not just that it communicates what you're looking for in your next career step, but also that it communicates it in business speak. It's in the same language that recruiters and hiring managers are looking for, that the language they understand and the language they speak. It's written like a job description. And that's what makes this tool so effective. Now, earlier, when I told you the story about my client, you might have been wondering, how did we get her talking to managers at the company that she really wanted to work at? Let's move to secret number 3, and that's having an effective job search strategy. But first, let me tell you, at the beginning of my career, over 10 years ago, I was convinced that if I'm qualified and competent, I don't need any help in my career search. Definitely don't need to network. I just need a resume that has all my skills and experience and education on it. I submit that online and I'll get a job, right? Well, 7 months later, I was still unemployed. And I learned the hard way that that does not work. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. So let me share what I've learned since then. And that is that actually only 20% of jobs even get advertised. 80% of jobs are filled through relationships, through the connections people have within a company, and through networking. It's often referred to as the hidden job market. In the hidden job market, we target that by networking. But now we're in the middle of a pandemic. How do we go about networking when we can't go to a networking event and meet people in person? We're stuck at home and have to figure this out from in front of our screens. There are many different tools, but I want to share one with you today, and that is LinkedIn. I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn, and I could talk about this for the next hour, but I'll promise to keep it short. First of all, if you are not on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn today. And you have to have a great profile. If you are on LinkedIn, make sure that your profile is updated. I don't have the time today to talk about how to create a great profile, but if you need help with that, feel free to reach out to me later. I'm more than happy to provide you with some resources there. Once you have a profile, it's ready to really use the platform. Because I'm sure the salespeople here in the audience, they have the best understanding of what the difference between a cold call and a warm call is. A cold call in networking terms or in job search terms would be sending your resume to a complete stranger and asking them for a job. You might be able to guess that it's not an effective strategy. It's not going to work. So what do we do to warm up our networking contacts? That's step number one, being active and engaging with content. Now, first of all, you want to find people that you want to build a relationship with. Find the people who do what you want to be doing, who do what's written on your career framework. Then find the people one level above that, the hiring managers for those positions. And then also find people within your industry, within your field that are very active on LinkedIn and share a lot of content. And then you want to comment on their posts. Because what happens when you comment on something on LinkedIn? Two things. First of all, you gain visibility because your comment is seen by all the followers they have. So if they have 1,000 followers, your comment is seen by potentially 1,000 people within your industry. That's really powerful, especially on LinkedIn. And second, you start a relationship. It takes about 3 times of you commenting on someone's post until they start recognizing your name and have a somewhat positive association with it. And at that time, you can move to step number 2, and that's to build the relationship. You send them a connection request alongside a note. Always send notes with your connection requests, please. And in the note, write something that would make them excited to respond back to you. Can you thank them for advice they shared? Can you compliment on a blog post they just wrote? Or can you provide value to them by referencing an article or sending them a link to an article that might be interesting to them? The goal is to get a conversation going via message. And that goal and the conversation should be about building a relationship and getting advice. You're not asking for a job at that point. You don't ask strangers for a job. That usually doesn't go down too well. So once you build that relationship via message going back and forth, it's time for step number 3, and that's to ask for an informational interview. So in your next message, you can include something like, I really find the advice you're sharing with me so valuable, and I would love the chance to get to talk to you on a Zoom video call. Would you have 10 minutes so I can ask you 5 questions to schedule a call? If you give them a specific number of questions and time, they're most likely to respond positive to your request because they know they're not going to be stuck on the call with you for the next 3 hours. And then once you get them on the Zoom call, again, you're going to focus on getting advice. You're not asking for a job. So first, ask questions about their industry, their position, their company, industry trends. And then there are 2 really important questions I want you to ask. You first share what is written on your career framework, what you're looking for in your next career move. And then you ask, what would you call this position at your company? The first thing you want to find out is that job title. And then the second question you want to ask, who would you talk to? Who would you suggest I talk to continue my research? Because you want to leave that conversation with at least one or two additional names that now you have a warm lead to reach out to and expand your network to. After the conversation, make sure that you keep the conversation going. Follow up with a thank you note and stay in touch. And these kind of informational interviews and relationship and networking are going to be your most effective job search strategy. All right, we covered lots of material today, so let's recap. Today, we talked about knowing your transferable skills and about the wealth of transferable skills you as hospitality professionals have. Second, we talked about gaining clarity on your next career steps through building a career framework. And third, we talked about having an effective career search strategy by using LinkedIn for remote networking. And those were the 3 steps that I used to move myself from the times of uncertainty to a time of success. Now, I am thankful for having gone through this time of uncertainty because it forced me to discover myself, to realize that I had the skills I needed. It forced me to rethink my career future and allowed me to connect with amazing people. And I'm so happy to say that I'm now more fulfilled and more successful than ever before. And I created my ideal future out of what I already had. And you too can turn your uncertainty into opportunities because you have within you right now everything you need to be successful. So thank you so much for inviting me to speak to all of you today. I would love to keep the conversation going with every single one of you. You can reach out to me via email at teresa@careerbluecoaching.com. Please remember to send me a career framework by next week. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I share daily career and job search advice there. And you can also visit my website, careerbluecoaching.com, where I have information about the one-on-one career coaching programs that I offer. As I already mentioned, my specialty is in empowering women in their career search. So I might not be the right career coach for everyone here in the audience. But if you are looking for help in your career or job search, I work within a larger network of career coaches. And I'm more than happy if you reach out to me, I'll put you in touch with a career coach who is an expert in your specific situation. So no matter what, you reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with someone great. So I know the environment we're going through right now is challenging, but I really hope that the tools I shared with you today have given you the confidence that you have what you need to be successful. Thank you.